goes through an experience which is very different from the human experience. One of these is the time frame we live in. So from the start it was clear that the film should show a longer time, but because we are human, we just can get glimpses, of course also in a feature film, of this very long life of a tree. And as I also wanted to draw attention to the fact that what we call reality is really ephemeral, is really changing the notion of reality. What we think is very solid and immovable. It changes so quickly that I chose moments when there was a shift in the human perception. To be a young girl at the turn of the 20th century in this very structured life ruled by tradition, even the clothes, even the park, the botanical garden you see is very much controlled. But the first cracks are appearing. Of course, the whole 70s, I'm so lucky to be a teenager in that time and live through this beautiful time when a new generation saw that we can rethink the frames of our life, and we experimented with our senses in so many ways. And of course, the lockdown, all of us around this globe, we lived through a very special experience. It was frightening, it was horrible, but also it gave us time to rethink. Perhaps we should have thought a bit longer. Anyway, it questioned a lot about our way of life.
Un aspecto clave de la película es ese reto también de proponer tres miradas visuales, creo que tremendamente poderosas las tres. Y quería preguntarle a Lico por ese reto del trabajo con su director de fotografía, cómo se planteaban también esas tres tonalidades, esas tres texturas.
Gary Palos, who was years ago my student in film school, and by the way he made the last two films of Roy Anderson. He just got in Chicago award for best cinematography, and I'm so happy for him. With him we had a very long preparation. What we wanted is some simplicity and transparency, just to immerse ourselves in different perceptions with the way of image and sound. That this is the two what you can have in a cinema, of course. We, from the start, we wanted to refrain from certain very showy, very spectacular visions of plants, what you can see in Natural Geography or films like about nature, films about nature. So somehow keeping our human limits a bit and just have some glimpses into another way of existing. And I'm sure you realize quite often that it's a super simple choice, just to change the focus of the lens and put the focus on the leaves, on the plant, instead of the humans. And somehow with this very basic and very simple, but in my opinion, effective way, not to enter really in perspective of a plant, just to show that, hey, there is another perspective, and from that perspective, we are just little noisy elements on the periphery, not so important. And of course, for these three different human perceptions, we work with 35 millimeter black and white for this sort of exactness and richness of detail, which is greatest period, where through photography, what she discovers is the structures, the whole structures of nature, the artistic side of nature. That's her discovery. So 35 was the right choice for that. So from the start, we were thinking about that and experimented with different negatives. And the 60 millimeter is not just, you can feel the 70s, but also that sort of impressionist approach. It's not about structure, it's about sensations. It's about hormones, pheromones, smells, and it's for many years I haven't worked with 60 millimeter, and it was a huge rediscovery. It's amazing, and it is not showing structures, as I said, but patches of very burning, alive colors. So you can feel yourself in an impressionist painting. And